Good morning, traders. It's Wednesday, May 3rd, and the news has just come out. And I just have to explain a couple things to you. First of all, it's going to be too hard for me to send out a signal for the oil based upon the news. It jumps around too much, changes too quickly for me to prepare a signal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up a trading room. Okay, going short here. I'm going to open up a trading room, and you can come into the room on Wednesdays for the news, and I'll lead you into these trades. Let me set the stop. Boy, that is a much bigger stop than I thought it was. It looked on the chart, it looked like it was very big, but it's big. It could be offset here. I think it is. I'm going to go long as soon as it hits. This is what I mean. I can't send out a signal for something like this. I can't change it on the fly so quickly, you know. See, I was afraid of that. It didn't look like it was offset. I checked the code. It didn't look like it was offset. The special working today, but they must have hidden an offset in there, and I didn't see it. So, but this is the direction I thought it was going to go. Thought it was going to go up. I called this in my charting. It's got a long ways to go up though before it would be considered to be going up, because it's all it's done is gone down. We go take a look at the daily here. It's got a long ways to go to be considered to go up. I sure hope this thing doesn't try to fool me twice here like this. Anyway, as you can see, trading the news can be very tricky, and it can go both ways on you very quickly. There's no way I can send a signal for that. So what I'm going to do instead, I'll open up a trading room, and you can just follow me into the trades on Wednesdays. Now that may morph into a trading room full time. We'll see. I'm going to still try to send out the signals for the oil signals and make it work. If I cannot, then I'll do a full-time trading room. But the Nadex, I'm going to send out signals for that, because I can send out signals for that very easily. The reason why I couldn't do it today was because the news is going to come out, and I didn't know for sure which way the news would go. I mean, it can do anything on Wednesdays. There's no real way for me to know. Also, I could send a signal out on the last code, which is a Newsday entry. The problem is there wouldn't be a whole lot of time left before the option expires. So that can be a problem right there. You know, you really, when you do a Nadex signal, you really want to send one out earlier. Take an entry earlier. The only exception would be is if I get the signal to go long or short, and it's very close to a 50 or a 00. Like for instance, let's say that the signal goes long at the code, and it happens to be right at 80 or 85 or something like that. I could send it out, and we could play above 48. Or vice versa, if it's, you know, right next to 40, let's just say it went short and it was, you know, at 60, 65, and then we could take it for below 47.50. You know, when I get something like that, I can send a signal out for it, no problem. But other than that, it's going to be really tough to try and trade the Nadex unless I have more time. And again, on Wednesday, I don't really have any way to know what it's gonna do at the news. So I'm gonna open up a trading room for Wednesday for the oil signals. Keep the Nadex signals. That way, at least, I can help you nail the Newsday entry. Now, this very well may go up a bit here and then turn back around, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to snap back and go up really hard. This is what I called for in my charting today. I called for it to go up, but you can see that it's went down radically before it's gone up. Now, the chart doesn't look very good for that, to be honest with you. It really doesn't. The daily does not look good for it to snap back and go all the way up. So what's most likely going to happen then is it's going to come up a bit, and then it's going to roll over using the last code to do it with. And then it'll probably come back down. So, and that happens a lot. That happens a lot. Because usually always when it does this particular type of move, it will continue down. When it shoots up, it likes to come back down. But when it shoots down, it likes to continue to go down. So hopefully it's not going to roll over on me too quickly and keep going up for a bit. Anyway, I'm still in the code here, and I'll come back. As you can see though, it's really moving here on a news day. That's why you really have to be on your toes to take the trade here. You can't just throw out a signal, because it's constantly giving me signals off the code, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you know, the only way I can play it is to jump in what looks to be the way it wants to go, and then be ready to take the opposite direction like I just had to do. And sending out a signal for that is really tough. I could have played the breakout if I wanted to, which once this opens up and oil starts moving here, which it may be doing now, we can play the breakout every time. It's not a problem. Piece of cake. And then we'll basically win virtually every time. It's only when it gets really tight that the breakouts stop working. So anyway, I will come back here just a little bit. This thing is definitely jumping all over the place, which I definitely like to see. You know, for a while there on the news, it wasn't even moving very much. It was kind of strange, you know, but it's definitely moving now. I like to see this. For those of you, notice how it broke lower right there. Okay, it's very common thing that they program into the program. They make it break lower right there because all the traders are going, oh, it's going to go down. And, you know, so they jump in going short. The only thing I don't like about this is that it's a long ways to have to come back up to go green. Don't think it's not going to do anything like that. But what it may do is it may come all the way back up and look like this bar here. So it'll come all the way back up, and or maybe closer to like this bar, something like that. Look like that. Come back up maybe to about here, and just make a big line like that, but still a red bar. Because like I said in my charting, there's too much of a setup right there for it to go back down some more. They'll program it in and bring it back up again a bit, and then perhaps bring it lower again later. So anyway, I am looking at possibly sending out a signal for the last code, but I need it to look a lot better than what it looks right now. Anyway, I will come back. I want to see this thing pop up here. Okay, it's shooting up here. So, for you Oil Signals subscribers, I'll open up a trading room and we can trade in the room, and I can help you on the news day. I still should be able to send out signals for the oil signals, but in case I can't, I can open up a room. But the problem with that is, for those of you that know and understand the code, it's going to be a little difficult Somehow, some way, I need to think of some way of telling you when to come in. It's going to be a little bit on the difficult side. I'll try to think of something though. So anyway, but we can do it for the news day. That's not a problem. And I'll work on it to see what I can do for the rest of the time. You know, I'm either going to send out the signals or I'll open up a trading room, but I have to figure out how to get past this problem. I suppose with doing the charting, I could announce when to come in, when to meet. I suppose we could do something like that. But for the Nadex, that's gonna remain signals, because well, let me think about it. I suppose I could start a trading room for that too, and just give feedback on what I'm thinking it's going to do, what I'm waiting for, and stuff like that. And then you could, you know, come into the trading room and read about that and everything. And then when I actually send out a signal, for those of you who can't monitor it, you could just take it on your phone wherever you are. That would be good. And other times, I'm pretty sure I can send out signals. Other times, just not for the news. Like tomorrow, I'll be able to send out a signal because I know exactly what the code is now. So for Thursday, but the codes don't work on Wednesday because prior to the news coming out, it doesn't do anything. And it even has its own code day that day because it's a news day. They've reprogrammed the computer to do a certain thing when the news comes out, which only they know what they're going to do at that point, based upon whatever the news is going to be, which I don't know. I don't know what the news is going to be. So they program the computer whatever news they plan to come out with, and which of course they already know. And then they make it do something. That's why I don't know what it's going to do prior to the news. I only know what it will do after the news, using the code. So anyway, I'm going to take another trade here. I'm possibly going to send out a signal. It's just the problem is nothing looks good. Only thing that looks good is to go short. Yeah, let me calculate. I'll be right back. I was going to send out a signal using the breakout technique for the Newsday entry code. But there's no way. The stop is over 30 ticks. So that's just, it's too big of a loss to take. You know, I'm not going to lead all of you into a trade that's going to lose 30 ticks for you. There's just no possible way. The other trade I just was taking earlier was about, I'm not sure exactly, but about 15 ticks or so. See, the problem is it's moving right now. The oil's really moving off the news, and the code is giving a very large stop. There's just no way I can send it out like this. And that's why you need to come into a trading room with me and just take the trades that I'm taking, you know. Not trades that I wouldn't take. I mean, I wouldn't even personally take this trade. I'm not even going to take it myself today. It's just too much of a risk. 30 ticks. I don't like to lose 30 ticks when I'm wrong. And I mean, I don't think I'm going to be wrong, but you know, but I could be wrong. You know, it does happen. So the only way is to run a trading room for the oil, especially on the news day. Otherwise, the Nadex is the way to go. But there's no way I can play the Nadex on the news day, because there's no way to know what will happen when the news comes out. There's just no possible way. What I could do is send out a Nadex. I could take a Nadex trade off of this, though. Let's see here. Let me think about this. If it were, no, because it's no good. Because we're too close to the top. By the time it makes a signal, we would have to go all the way up to 48.50 instead of above 48. Because by the time it would make a signal, we would already be almost above 48 right there. So that's not going to work unless it were to go short. Now, if it were to go short, the same thing. The code is huge today. It's let me calculate it. It is very, very big. 58, 68, 78, 88. It is 35 ticks. 35 tick stop. And what that's doing is right, look at where we are. That takes us down almost below 4750 and takes us up almost above 48. It's like about, we end up like 55, right? So by the time we got the signal, it would be 55 right there. We'd only have 5 ticks to go before we'd be below 4750. And then 55, 60, 70, 80, 90 takes us up to 90 before we would get a long signal. And that only takes us 10 ticks up to above 48. So it's just not a good day today for sending out a signal again for the news. The only good entry was the one I just took, because the stop was fairly small, although it was a lot larger than what I first thought it was. And the reason why is because oil's really moving here. Now if I wanted to gamble, I could take a long signal right here off the Nadex, but that's not trading. Trading is not gambling. You know, it just isn't. If you want to lose, you gamble. If you want to win, you take mathematical trades in your mathematical favor. And right now, I do not have one. I do not have a signal which way it wants to go. The only signal I got was the one before, to go long. And I already made 40 tick exit. Well, actually, I made first, I lost, 15 ticks or something like that. By going the wrong way, going short. Then I went long, hit the 40 ticks. So, it's just not a good day right now. Better days will come. That's for sure. See, these are all things that you need to learn when you become a trader. You know, and these things are impossible to teach. You just cannot teach this stuff. This is called experience. You can't teach experience. There's just no way. There's no book. There's no nothing that could teach you such things like this. It comes from years of experience. And that's where a lot of people make their mistake. They just simply don't have the experience. They want to trade. They want to gamble. And, you know, that's not trading. It's not trading for a living. It's not trading professionally. Gamblers very rarely win unless they have some mathematical system that gets them a mathematical advantage of some sort. Anyway, I still don't know which direction it's going to go here. And I don't want to take the trade because it's 35 tick stop. I don't want to take that. Because the trade that would go for would only be 30 ticks. I would only go for 30, and 35 tick loss versus a 30 tick gain is always is bad math. You really want to get it like 15 tick stop, 30 tick profit. 20 tick stop, 40 tick profit. Double on your profit. Okay, I just took a trade. It's very, very risky here. I've got to put the stop all the way up at 94. Let me check that. Let me check it. Yep, 94. See what I'm saying? It's a gigantic stop right there. Somehow I have to be able to figure this out. I'm going to go take a Nadex trade below 50 right there. Be right. I couldn't make it in time. I didn't have enough time to make it. So I couldn't take the trade below 50. I have to figure out a way to communicate what it is I'm trying to do to get it all out to you in time. It's so difficult to do. You know, like I said, once it gave the signal, it was just, there was only a few ticks there to do, and it just, there's just no way I could get that out. I couldn't even take the trade myself. There's just no way. I mean, I don't know. I wish I could think of a way that was an easier way to do this, where I could help all of you. I really want to help you, because I know so many of you need to make money, you know. Let me, I'll open up a trading room for the Newsday. We can trade oil on that day together. The Nadex, sometimes I'll be able to do the Nadex. Like for instance, if the signal had given me a signal and we happened to be up at 70, for instance, I could easily send the signal out that time for below 50. But since it was like so close to the 50 by the time it even gave a signal, the code even gave a signal, this goes short. There's just no time. I tried to go over to my other computer to go take the trade and didn't have time. It just shot down. For those of you doing the Nadex signals, I'll be able to make you good money with the Nadex, just not on the Newsday. Thursday and Friday, I should be able to make you good money on that. On the oil signals, Thursday and Friday, I should be able to send out a signal for those. Yeah. I'll come back. By the way, I'm only going to go for 30 ticks on this trade. If you are in my charting service, you know that this one is not good for a lot. And in fact, it was only good for 20 ticks this week. So I'm pushing it right now on 30 ticks. So that's why the charting service is so valuable. You know, I really wish that all of you could just do the charting service and make it work, but apparently so many of you cannot, and that really, I'm really sorry about that. You know, some things about there that you're just not understanding, or it's your own emotions when you get into trade and everything. You know, something's holding you back, you know. I'm starting the fund on Friday. I'll have it ready to go. You can start investing in the fund after Friday, so Monday, let's say. And for a lot of you, it's going to be a good way to go for you. But I will open a trading room up for Wednesdays. It's going to be awful difficult to do it for the other days, because those of you that don't understand, you know, my system, you know that every day is totally different, and you would have to know when to come into the room, and I don't know how I'm supposed to tell you that. How could I get that? How could I get you to know that when you would come into the room? I mean, I would have to send out an email every single day and change it, you know, it just, and then you'd have to come into the room throughout the day and stuff like that. I mean, it's not going to be so easy to run a trading room for that. But for the news we can, because that comes at the same time every day. I mean, every Wednesday. Anyway, this trade is bad mathematics. I've got a 30 tick profit. What's my stop? 54, 64, 70, 74, 84, 40 tick stop. 30 tick profit, 40 tick stop. That is trading 101 wrong right there. It is absolutely wrong to do this trade. The only reason why it's right is because it's the code. Otherwise, this would be a horrible trade to take. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm going to take a huge loss here. And it could happen. It absolutely could happen. And I could be wrong here. Of course, I could use the breakout technique on this other code, which it could be, and reverse the position. But that's going to be awfully hard to send out signals for things like that. Anyway, I will come back. By far the best way is for me to do the NADAC signals and just focus and concentrate on those. But there would never be a NADAC signal on the Newsday. It's not possible. Unless, of course, it were to give a signal at the right price range where I could short below 47.50 or go above 48, but it needs to be at the right level. Today just happened to be at a very bad level. Alright, I'm going to jump out. It's too much risk. Way too much risk. Bad trade to enter right from the very beginning. I would not be surprised at all if it shoots back up here. Not surprised at all because it's already gone down. The problem is the range was so huge that when I was taking the breakout, I'm taking the breakout, it's already made a huge move. The reason why it did that is because two reasons. Number one, because the news came out. Number two, because the oil's moving here. And it's making the codes really, really big. Or at least that particular one was really big. The other ones are not that big, but this one was really big. 35 tick code. No, no, no. Very bad. You want to stay out of those. So anyway, as you can see, this is the reason why I haven't sent out a signal. Just cannot do it on the Newsday. I only got one trade, one good trade. That was it. Anyway, I am going to get going. I will be back on Thursday to, of course, do the charting, and then I will send out a signal tomorrow for the NADAX. I should be able to tell which direction it's going to go tomorrow. And then also for the oil signal, I'll pick which signal I'm going to send for, and I'll send it. I'm probably going to send the main USA code this week. There's only one, so mathematically speaking, that trade will work with almost 100% guarantee, almost. So I'll send that one, and I'll send that one for the oil signal, and then I will send a NADAX signal. So for Thursday, you'll get something, and Friday, most likely you will as well. So hang in there, everybody. I'm trying to do my best on this side, but I do not want to send you signals that are just going to lose you money. Anyway, I will be back tomorrow. Happy trading out there. I'm going to come back in a little bit, and we're going to see what this thing does. What I think it's going to do is too much of a risk, is it's going to pop back up again. You know, it looks like it's going to go down right here, right now. But let's go to the 10-minute. Yeah, it looks like it, could possibly come down right here, right now. But I think there's just too much risk of this thing going back up again. And what it will look like on the daily is it'll look, well, something like this one, or how about this one, or even this one. Well, it already looks like that one almost. How about this one? It'll look something like this one. It'll pop back up a little bit more, come up a little bit higher, and leave a line like that, possibly even like that. Come back even more, and leave a bigger line on the bottom here. It does that a lot on the Newsday. So holding it short on that code is not a good idea. It already moved its range that it's been doing. Now, it could be wrong, and it might move down, but just because I'm wrong doesn't mean the mathematics, doesn't mean I should stay at a trade that's not good mathematically. And I do not want to sending you a signal that is not a good mathematical trade. I would be a very bad signal provider if I did something like that. This is not gambling. I only send out and take trades that are very high mathematics. If they're not, I don't play them. That's how you see me win over and over again. Anyway, I'll come back. We'll see what this thing does. Okay, I just wanted to come back here really quick and show that it hasn't gone up, it hasn't gone down. It really hasn't done anything yet. And it's 10:10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And really all the movement is just right here when the news came out. And it didn't do anything before that, and it hasn't done anything after that. So this is why you're paying me, to keep you out of trouble in the market, not to send you signals that are just going to lose. And you see how I could tell before it even happened that it just didn't look good. So, if you take 10 signals a month and they all win, it's a lot better than taking 20 and half of them lose, because then you lose money instead of just constantly winning money. And it's something I learned a long time ago about trading, and you have to learn to get good at that and take high mathematical trades. And that's what you're going to learn from me, that I'm very disciplined that way and will keep you out of trouble and just send you trades that are most likely going to win. That is the true mark of a true professional trader that really knows how to make money from the markets. I learned that a long time ago. When I first started trading, I would want to trade everything, I'd want to jump into trades here, jump into trades there, see if I'd be right. And, I'd win 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time I'd lose. And then I started watching this professional trader, and this guy would wait all day long. Everybody else would be taking one trade after another, jumping in this, jumping in that, jumping in this, jumping in that, and I'd be doing it too. I'd short this, go long on this, just all over the place. Take one trade after another on just even one stock. But I watched this guy, and he'd wait all day long to take one trade, all day long, and just take one trade. But you know what? He'd win 90+% of the time. And it used to just amaze me, like, how could this guy possibly do this? And that's really saying something too, because we're talking about real trading. We're not talking about the codes here. The codes is cheating. What you see me doing here, trading the codes with oil, is absolutely 100% cheating. He's doing real trading and scoring that kind of success ratio. That taught me a lesson. I watched him and watched him and watched him, and taught me a lesson that that's the real way to trade. You don't need to sit there and take a whole bunch of trades and get all these, spend a bunch of money on trading costs and things like that, and frustration, and you're trading and you go up and you go back down, you go up and you go back down. It gets very frustrating. You're sitting there, it's like you working so hard, you're spinning your wheels. And it taught me a lesson that if you can learn how to judge a trade mathematically and take a trade and it wins most of the time, you know what happens? You make money. And see, what I was doing is I was following his trades. And I started to do that, and I was like, well, this is the way to go. I mean, why do you need to take 50 trades in a day? You could just take one and win. It's so much easier. It's so much better. It's better in every way, on your emotions, on your time, everything. And I started to do the same thing. Started to learn how to look for something and wait for it to get just the right moment to take the trade. And you can absolutely develop that skill. You absolutely can. I have that skill, and I also apply it to the codes as well. If the chart doesn't look right, if the code doesn't look right with respect to the chart, or on the Nadex, if we're not close enough to an area, we're too far away, or anything like that, I just back off the trade. There's no reason to push it, because the trades will come. If you just be patient and let them come, they will come. Just like today, I didn't make anything today. I made 20 ticks today. It just was not a good day. The only way I made it was, what did I go? I went long and just barely made the exit right there. I could have easily missed it. And so, you really have to be disciplined as a trader. It takes time, it takes experience. So just sit back, wait for the signals to come, and I will show you how you have discipline trading, and where every time you take a trade, you pretty much are going to win. That's how you make money. Anyway, I'm going to go. It's very, very late here. What time is it? My iPhone says it is 12:16 a.m. on Thursday morning. So I'm going to go to sleep now. I'll upload this video sometime tomorrow when I get up, and I'll do a Nadex video for all of you. I know I promised one, but I was super busy today. I had to go to wake up really early to go to an appointment today. It took a lot longer than what I thought. And I got back home, did the charting, and then I've been swamped answering emails and setting people up in the signals, and it's been a very busy day for me. So anyway, I'll be back tomorrow, but you can expect a signal tomorrow because I now have the codes mathematically all figured out in the charting service. So I'll know exactly what to do to send you a good signal for both the oil signals and for the Nadex. So anyway, I am going to go. Hope you traders are learning and being inspired, and just wait a little bit longer and I'll have you signals, and I'm most likely going to open up the trading room for oil so that we can trade the news next week on Wednesday. Anyway, I'm going to get going. Happy trading out there. See you tomorrow.